Everyone, I want to begin today's explanation with the trailer from the movie about Fred Rogers. So let's start with that.
Hello, neighbor.
Hey, I'm looking for Fred Rogers. In here.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Please won't you be my neighbor? Hello, neighbor.
Mr. Rogers, I'm here to interview you.
It is so nice to meet you.
You okay? I'm profiling Mr. Rogers.
Lloyd, please don't ruin my childhood.
This piece will be for an issue about heroes. Do you consider yourself a hero?
We are trying to give the world positive ways of dealing with their feelings.
Yeah? Like what?
There are many things you can do. You can play all the lowest keys on a piano at the same time.
You love broken people. Like me.
Sometimes we have to ask for help, and that's okay. I think the best thing we can do is to let people know that each one of them is precious.
Hey, Mr. Rogers! It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Please won't you be my neighbor?
That was wonderful.
Okay. It's a very inspirational film. I encourage you to watch it if you haven't watched it. So Fred Rogers dedicated his life to working with children. And the reason why I wanted to show the movie trailer is because he had a message that spoke to everybody. It is a timeless message, and it's for people all over the world, no matter what age. That's why in the bus station or on the bus when the kids are from modern day, and Fred Rogers is an older man, it resonates with them, and Fred Rogers is special to them. And then the journalist who's interviewing him, who's an older man, he feels broken and he needs someone to listen to him. And Fred Rogers' career spanned 35 plus years working with children. And so the universality of his message rings true. Now, he started out not having funding and not having been believed in, and he fought for children's programming. Now, this has gone down as one of the most famous speeches to Congress in history, and it was delivered on May 1st, 1969, and the reason why Fred Rogers approached Congress was to get funding for his program. Now, the first task that you need to do, and I've kind of done quite a bit of it here, is highlight the portion of the text of this speech to Congress. Yellow for evidence of logos, that is logic. Green for evidence of an ethical appeal and or anything that shows Fred Rogers' credibility. And then blue for an emotional appeal, something that Fred Rogers does to connect on an emotional level. So I would like for you, when after I've gone through this, I want you to read this all in its entirety. And I have attached to Canvas the actual speech so that you can watch him deliver it and so that you can read it for yourself. But I want to go over a few key elements so I can go over the 4-column analysis sheet. All right, so Senator Pastore, he was known for his vehement, tight purse strings, and by that I mean his closed budget, and it was not favorable that Fred Rogers would even expect to think that he would get funding. So he was going up against a senator who was not likely to give him what he wanted. So he had his work cut out for him. He had to be especially persuasive. And you'll see that by the end of this speech, he has Senator Pastore like just putty in his hands. All right, so I highlighted the green, the ethos, and the yellow logos, the logical appeal, and the blue pathos throughout. So if I show you, you'll just see through here. It has the speech and then it has the back and forth. But you're going to need to read this. But I want to show you what I expect you to do on the 4-column analysis. So at the top here, this is what we've been working on with the rhetorical situation that I went over last week in class. And you've seen the grid before. Who is the writer/speaker? Who is the audience? What is the purpose? What is the subject? What is the thing that is necessary, that is the catalyst that is makes this even necessary to bring to Congress? What's going on in the world that makes children's programming necessary to be like what Fred Rogers envisions? What's the text? And then what's the genre? So this, I feel like you can fill up because we've gone over this. So go over that, and then I want to show you a couple of examples from the text. So in the text, he says up here, he says, I'd just like to talk about it if it's all right. My first children's program was on WQED 15 years ago, and its budget was $30. Now, with the help of Sears Roebuck Foundation and National Education Television, as well as all of the affiliated stations, each station pays to show our program. So here, I have this highlighted as ethos. It gives him credibility. He's talking about how he has 15 years of practice with this and experience. So if you go look at this part, which a couple of students have emailed me, and this is why I wanted to go over it with you in class, but my face is giant and swollen right now. But I want to go over it with you here. So the text evidence is this right here. My first children's program was on WQEP 15 years ago, and then the ... is it goes on, but that's the beginning of the quote. This is an ethos appeal. It is an example of an illusion. It's an example. It's evidence. So that's the technique. That's the rhetorical technique that's being used. Any one of those would work. But then over here in this last column, you need to say, what is the message of that text? Rogers here presents himself as knowledgeable and credible. He has the support of key stakeholders and respected businesses. So his message is that his content is a worthy investment in the nation's future. Now he's going up against someone who very likely he believes probably won't end up giving him the money because he's such a stickler. But he knows that he is more likely to gain the respect and gain credibility if he establishes with his audience that he has experience working in children's program. So much so that he has garnered support from companies like Sears Roebuck and the Children's Television Network. They believe in his program, and if they do, then perhaps Congress should. Okay, so one of the other examples, if we go to the speech, is when he says down here, he says, it is a unique kind of funding in educational television. With this help, now our program has a budget of $6,000. It may sound like quite a difference, but $6,000 pays for less than 2 minutes of cartoons, 2 minutes of animated, what I sometimes say, bombardment. So in the analysis, I put the text evidence right here, but $6,000 pays for less than 2 minutes of cartoons. This is a logical appeal. He's trying to say to the senator, think about it. A whole show to promote goodness and good feeling in children versus 2 minutes of what I call bombardment. So that's a logical appeal. The technique is a comparison. He is comparing his program and its virtues as compared to the bombardment and the lack of goodness promoted by 2 minutes of a cartoon. So that's a comparison. And here's the message. Rogers is able to do much with little. He's proven that with his budget, he can do more with it than can be accomplished in a cartoon. He's criticizing the efforts of those who believe that they should promote cartoons when it's simply entertainment and not even valuable promoting goodness type of entertainment, when they pale in comparison to the good he could do with his show. Okay, so that is what this is all about. I wanted you to come up with 6 total examples from the text after you have done the logos, ethos, and pathos identification, and transfer that information. So once you've done step 1 by identifying logos, ethos, and pathos, then you go to the 4-column analysis. You do the top part here, which is the rhetorical situation. And then on the bottom, you take the evidence that you identified and highlighted, and then you transfer the evidence to here. You already know what this is because you just highlighted it, so just put that word there. Then what technique is it? Is it a comparison? Is it imagery? Is it a certain kind of strong word choice? Is it sentence structure? Allusion? Another comparison? Is it an example of something? So you put that technique right there by name. And then this is the most important because it's what is the message of that text evidence? What is he trying to achieve? Now, the reason we're practicing with this is because, you're going to do a rhetorical analysis on a speech of your choice. We're going to be spending quite a bit of time on this, but this analysis tool is going to help you as you prepare to analyze the speech that you're going to write about. It's the background work. Consider this to be like the brainstorming tool. For the narrative of a persuasive moment, we did a persuasive timeline, and that from that content, we pulled that and made a narrative. From this content, you're not writing a paper on Fred Rogers' speech. We are learning the practice of filling out the 4-column analysis tool with the Fred Rogers speech. But you will be doing this for the speech of your choice. But doing this is not extra work. It is a brainstorming tool to help you with the content when you go to write your rhetorical analysis later. So I hope this makes sense. I do want to explain that I have moved every class forward 1 now. So today we are doing Wednesday's work. And then what I had planned for today will be for Monday and so forth. So I am going to have to change some dates then to adjust the timeline for the next writing project. Have to move it a couple of days. We have a fall break coming up and there was going to be some kind of finagling with that. But I just want you to know that I'm going to change some things and let you know what those changes are on Monday. But it'll not be a change to you that hurts you. It will be one that makes it more manageable because I had to cancel class on Wednesday. So please let me know if you have any questions. I still have my email pulled up and I can always help you out. Just try your best at this. You might want to even get with someone in the class and kind of work with them on this. I'm fine with that. Each person needs to turn in his or her own sheet, but sometimes 2 heads are better than 1. So if you want to work with another person, I'm totally fine with that. You would just have to figure out through FaceTime or, text, or if you want to do a Google Meet yourself, just with each other or whatever. But let me know if you have any questions. All right, that's it.